Thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Pint. This episode is sponsored by Camilla Najat of Exit Realty, Strategy Up Business Consultants, and ISS Atlantic Security Guard Services. Enjoy the show. Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad.
And who do we have with us today?
Anita Kirkbride.
Anita Kirkbride.
That name sounds familiar.
LinkedIn. Again, another one of those LinkedIn warriors, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
We've seen you around in them LinkedIn posts.
Yeah, people usually say, I see you all over social media. I see you everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm used to that.
That's because you're like a social media guru of sorts.
Well, other people can call me a guru. I don't use guru and ninja and all those things for myself. But,
but you do use anti-hero.
I am an anti-hero.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
I am the social media anti-hero.
Social media anti-hero.
Explain what that means to you, if someone doesn't know, right? 'Cause
yeah.
people are going to think of anti-heroes going to be like, I'm Venom or the Undertaker or something.
Daredevil.
That's funny. I just watched Venom this weekend. Well, first of all, an anti-hero is not a villain. A lot of people, myself included, think that an anti-hero is a villain, but an anti-hero is actually a flawed hero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're a hero that has maybe more authenticity than your typical Hollywood hero or, your charming
You're talking
prince
to two Marvel nerds here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. We know.
So what happened was I always talked about being flossam in your business and your marketing, and which was accepting
like
your
flossing?
flaws.
Oh.
No, flaw.
No, I mean flossing like flossing like
awesome.
rapper,
Yeah.
not flossing like teeth.
Flossing
Yeah.
like the dance.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Sorry.
Flossam.
Okay.
Combination of having flaws
Yes.
and being awesome.
Okay.
So flossam.
And
I use that a lot. I even have it tattooed on my arm now, the word flossam, because it's all about accepting that nobody's perfect and
Sure.
that you're
Yeah,
never
of
going
course.
to be perfect, and
Okay.
you learn as you go and all of that stuff. And so I talked about that a lot in my business for the last, I don't know how long, the last 7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then last summer I was listening to a podcast, as I do, and they talked about anti-heroes and what an anti-hero was, and it struck me that being an anti-hero is the next level of flossam. So being an anti-hero is just accepting that you're not perfect, you have flaws, you go on and you do the business, or you make the podcast, or you brew the beer, or whatever. Anyway, you do it anyway, right? You're just accepting. But being the anti-hero is more. It's really pushing the fact that you're different, that you're not perfect. It's more than accepting it, it's going with it, really leaning into the fact.
Embracing it.
Embracing the fact that you're not perfect and you're never going to be perfect. And anti-heroes tend to do what's right for them and their business or their project or their family. And that doesn't necessarily mean what they're doing is wrong for other people, but they put themselves first, or their family or their business first.
Cool.
Right.
And so in business and in social media, what that means to me is you do what you need to do to make it work for your business. So if there's a rule out there that says you have to post 4 times on TikTok every day, but that doesn't work for your business, then the anti-hero says, no, I can't do it 4 times a day. I can do it once a day. Right, because that's what works for your business. Or if the rule or the best practice says you have to use these hashtags, or you have to do this type of video, or you have to build your podcast
So I'm going to draw a line
certain
here.
way.
The anti-hero is kind of like authenticity.
It is.
In
It
yourself
really
and your
is.
social media and stuff, without trying to be a big fake friggin' everything's
Exactly.
perfect and rainbows.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
exactly. It's all about authenticity and just choosing the parts of what works that work for you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And I forgot to plug, we're at Great Roads Brewing.
Yes.
So we are all drinking.
See, we're being flossam.
We're
exactly.
being flossam. We do we're always flossam on this show. So I'm drinking the IPA 7-day. Matt, what
I'm
do you
drinking the Cobequid Copper, which is awesome.
Yeah, you're loving
I'm
it?
drinking in the new Normie glasses, too.
Ooh, yeah.
I
That's
like
a
that.
classy looking glass.
Yeah, cheers, right?
Right.
And I've got a cider. How do you like them apples?
Yes. good cider.
It is a good
It
cider.
is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice and
really
dry.
nice cider.
Yeah, it definitely tastes like
Chill and
apples.
crisp and all that. So getting back, so you started this social media strategist type of company yourself around, I think I was looking on LinkedIn, around 15 years ago. Is that correct?
Pretty close. It was 2011.
Okay.
My last job, my contract wasn't renewed, and the day after my contract was done, I jumped into getting my business started mode. So I went into the self-employment benefits program, found out what I had to do to get into that program so that I could be making money while I was starting my business. And that's what I did. So 2012, was it? A few months later, I had the business up and running.
Where do you love to start working with someone to help them develop their online presence? Where do you like to help them start?
It's changed so much since when
crazy
I
now.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, when I
Yeah.
started in 2011, 2012, people were still saying, oh, this is just a fad. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still get that every once in a while. I don't know how a fad lasts 12 or 13 or 15 years, but
Well, I mean, social media. I mean, I joined Facebook in 2007, so
yeah.
it's been around for a while.
It's-
So
yeah.
I honestly, I know Facebook isn't necessarily quote unquote cool with some of the younger kids now, but eventually they get older and then eventually they join it.
Exactly.
I think Facebook's too big to fail at this point. I really do.
I think someday, eventually, something will come along and replace it, or
Do you think so?
something. Eventually, I mean, it always happens.
Do you know?
right?
Do you know why I don't think it will? Because people have uploaded so much of their lives, and their
It's true.
nostalgia is so powerful. Like people, the only place people have pictures of their kids and families and memories and stuff sometimes is just on Facebook, because
It's
they go
true.
through their phones. Their phones are gone. They lose the data. The data's too much.
No more photo books like back
They're
in the
not back
day,
in
or
the box.
parents or
Yeah.
grandparents.
So honestly, like
Yeah.
Facebook has become people's family photo albums, and that's why I think it's too big to fail.
It's totally possible. I mean, I back up all my photos.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Yeah.
I don't want to be dependent on that. But you know what? A few years ago, I would have said the same thing about Twitter, that it wasn't going to go anywhere. And I mean, it's not gone yet.
It's not gone, but you know, I just
what happened? Oh,
But
it's
you know what?
crazy,
Though? But
crazy year for Twitter.
Twitter's really great in
Yeah.
terms of like the news aspect and the instant like news and like whatever. But again, it's like not that like I don't find it offers the nostalgia.
I was a Twitter
No, it's
fan
not the same.
forever.
Right?
I was Twitter's #1 fan, and this year, oh my God, it's like you're trying to make me hate it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why? And you can't even go on it without seeing Elon Musk's face immediately every time you log in. That's a little strange.
Well,
right?
I've blocked him because
Okay.
I don't want to see.
Well, like
that
I shouldn't have
stuff.
to do that.
No, you
though,
shouldn't.
right?
have
Like
to
I mean, I
block him.
follow him and everybody else, but that doesn't mean the tweets I want to see every day are yours.
Yeah.
I don't want to see your thoughts before everyone else's. I don't think that's fair, especially if you're running a social media company.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
And the latest move to get rid of the part of the main reason we use a block feature, which means that people who you've blocked will be able to see your tweets. They just won't be able
Right.
to interact with them.
And what about if you want
What
some
do you
privacy from people,
Exactly.
especially there's dangerous people out there, there's creeps out there,
A lot of people
right?
block exes that
Yeah.
are abusive or all kinds of things, and just it's
No, that's
dangerous,
true.
the changes that he's made. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to choose who you want to interact with. I agree with that. Right?
Yeah.
So you should have that choice. So I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
agree.
I didn't even realize that. I barely go on Twitter or X or whatever.
And it really puts like that democracy thing into question. It's like when everybody can say everything, it is. Jeez, I mean, you want a freedom of speech, but also sometimes freedom can get really stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes there's just a lot of hate and
The
and
one
no
thing-
context.
Yeah. The
Right.
one
Yeah.
thing I don't understand about any of these social networks is they have the technology to detect bots. Mm-hmm. They
Yeah.
can tell us when they've removed 1,000,000 bots.
For the
right?
most part, yeah.
So why can't they stop the bots somehow before they post? Like, why can't they? I don't understand how we have the technology to know to remove them, but not to stop them.
Yeah, I think it preys on us wanting to be emotionally reactive to stuff. So things that make us angry or things we don't agree with are going to be shown to us every day because it embodies a reaction.
So there's something to be said about that. So I'm
Yeah.
actually I'm watching the Mr. McMahon documentary right now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
almost done. I'm
I
about
can't
be
wait
on-
to start that. Yeah,
I'm just finishing episode 5.
yeah.
And I mean, obviously there's things that have come out about him that are obviously terrible. But what I like about this documentary is just his willingness to just give the people what they want and put everything. And I mean his self-respect, like his family, like everything is all about the business and like so he'll check his own ego as long as it makes money. right?
Okay.
And I mean, he has a huge ego and everything too. So I just found it was, but that's the thing. He was giving people, and there was a really, really interesting quote that was said on that documentary that said, who's at fault? He was talking about the late 90s, early 2000s, and how they were, the content was really like sexualizing women, and it was really really aggressive, like bloody, gory, and all this stuff. And they were saying, well, it was a reflection of society at the time. Like, that's what people wanted, right?
It was an angry society in 1999.
Yeah. So, but what I thought, the interesting quote that was on there is they said, well, who's really at fault? The person making the content or the people cheering it on and watching it? And I was like, that's interesting, like, because essentially he's just giving them what they want.
It's interesting, but I don't know if that's a. I don't love that. I don't love that
on
quote.
social media. If you want to see less about the royal family or the Kardashians or whoever, if you don't want to see that kind of content, stop commenting on it. Stop.
True.
Stop pumping them up. Stop.
Well, it's the same as Trump. If you hate Trump, stop talking about him. He's like a toddler in the room, right? You know, if you got a bad behaving kid, the best thing you do is ignore their ass until they go away.
Yeah, well, that's the algorithm.
It's like, we don't like your behavior right now. We're not talking to you. Yeah. And they're like, what? I'm not getting any reaction from you whatsoever. You're not getting angry, happy, mad, sad, or pissed. You're just giving me nothing. Yeah. I got to change my behavior. Like, that's what kids do. Yeah. Right. As a parent, you learn that. Right. It's a.
And they have algorithms. And the thing is, yes, they can detect, like, if something goes against community standards or something like that. But the fact is that you can sit there and write, like, I hate the royal family or I love the royal family. The fact is that you've engaged with that.
Yeah.
Right.
And the algorithm just was like, you engaged with it. Now that's all you're going to see. It's the same thing right now. We're talking about it, and our phones are listening to us, and now we're going to get nothing but royal family things.
We're all going to laugh tonight when that happens.
Yeah, sure. 100%.
Yeah. So back to you. So in this climate, how are you engaging differently? I guess, what's the new normal for your job as a social media strategist to help people navigate in this much more, I'd say, tabloidisk or volatile social media that we've never had really as much previously?
Well, I'm really focusing now on training the small business owner. And when I say small business, I'm talking about really small businesses, solopreneurs, people that have maybe a couple of employees. I don't work with big businesses.
Okay.
But I really focus on helping them figure out how to use these different platforms to promote their business. So it could, like, I'm training them how to make a reel or how to post or how to tag people. Because even though social media has been around for 15 years, people who are new to business haven't used it that way, and so they need help with that.
Right.
So a lot of what I do now is training and helping them see the strategy of, well, what do I talk about? They don't. They just don't even know what to talk about because it all feels inconsequential to them. But if you were to start telling me all about beer and this equipment that's all around us, that's all brand new to me. But you guys probably know a lot about it, and you probably think everybody's
You'd be surprised
bored.
how little I know about the things I drive. No, just joking. But
you know what I mean. You probably, maybe you have friends who are tired of hearing you talk about beer or how it's made or whatever.
For sure.
But if you were to talk about that to people who don't know anything about it, they'd find it really interesting and useful.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the same for me with social media. I think it's all very common sense how to do this. But people who have never done it before, have never tried to use it for business, have only ever looked at it to see their kids' photos or their grandkids' photos or whatever, they're like, I don't understand why I want to tell people what I had for lunch.
Would you say that businesses like essentially have to have a social media presence in order to stay relevant?
This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro.
I think they have to have some kind of social media presence. They don't necessarily have to be on any one particular network.
No.
Because it's all about figuring out where their audience is hanging out and wants to see their content. And it's also more about what kind of content are you actually willing to make.
Yeah.
So maybe you're willing to do a podcast, but you're not willing to be on video. Well,
Right.
then, make an audio podcast, don't get into videos. You can work with that. But
Right.
you've got to have something out there somewhere.
I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like we're constantly trying to figure it out because we have in 1 month we have really great success on YouTube, and then another month we have really great success on Instagram, and then Facebook. But
Yeah.
and it's all like a rotation of different things. But I think a lot of it has to do with like how like depending on how big an episode does on what platform. Sometimes depends on the guest.
Yeah.
Right.
And whether or not the guest shares and whether or
Well,
not
that's
they
obviously
engage
huge
and-
too. Yeah.
Having it everywhere the way that we do, it
Oh, we have
helps.
to.
So it one picks up after the other. I cooked a steak on Saturday and I put it up on YouTube, right? And just for fun. And I had the YouTube crowd very lovely and endorsing. I had the Reddit crowd very critical.
Your steak is overdone.
Like, what did you do, you idiot? You don't even know how to make steak, right?
Reddit has nothing good to say. It's the most toxic social
I
media.
laughed. Like the first comment was like, it's like he's like that wasn't even seared good, right? Like it was just like I was like they're like it's an angry crowd, but once you know that, it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right. I just play with that. That's fun as shit to me. I love it. Right. Like I mean, I doesn't bother me that you hated the way I cooked the steak. I love that.
Yeah.
So, but I feel every social media thing, it's like a different type of playground.
Yes.
Right. So the
It is.
Reddit's like maybe the angrier playground. I don't know. Right. YouTube is super supportive. So YouTube, that same steak's going up, and this girl is just like, that looks amazing, right? That
Interesting.
looks delicious. I'd like to
Yeah.
try that.
Is
right?
that your experience, or do you find YouTube?
Well, I
when
don't use YouTube a whole lot.
No.
Okay.
No.
And no, but I'm just learning and playing, and as
Yeah.
I play along, I don't touch the Facebook stuff. I don't really like Facebook personally.
Nobody does.
No, I just don't find it's like, I don't get a lot of fun out of it.
No.
And I only got it in 2020. I mean, I just talked about this the other week. I won't talk
Yeah.
about it again. But like, it just doesn't provide a lot for me, but it is good for close friends and family. Seeing
Yeah.
my older family in Newfoundland and stuff. I love it for that.
It has some benefits that the other networks just don't offer,
Yeah.
and that is, the group functions and
Yeah.
promoting events and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no other place really that we have that ability. To
They don't
just
do
sort
it
of-
as well. Yeah,
They don't
not
do
nearly
it as well.
Mhm.
So
Facebook seems to have it all. Like it literally is everything. It is Twitter. It is Instagram. It is whatever you want it to be.
Right.
It's all of those things just in one place. So I don't
Yeah.
understand why
it just
people are
sucks
like-
in the background is the problem.
Oh, well, I think the problem is that, it's like social media in general is like you can have people who are so opinionated, so negative. It gives people who maybe, wouldn't in the past normally have a platform to gather, and then it allows them to gather.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't get that with Instagram as much. You get it a little bit, but not as much because it's just pictures and videos. I guess you could say it.
Yeah.
And, there are people who get lots of hate on Instagram.
Yeah.
But it just seems like Instagram seems like it's a little bit more chill, I guess. Twitter can go the other way. Oddly enough, one that you're really successful on is LinkedIn. And
Right.
that's actually done really well for us.
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn is great because it's professional. People generally are on there for professional purposes. They want to network. They want to be supportive.
That's right.
They're not on there it's not like Reddit. They're not on there to be angry and
No.
discredit and complain. Although of course, all that stuff's on there, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
I
It's
find
not the
people are a
same.
little more careful.
Yeah.
Because the business is right there.
Careful is key, right?
Yeah.
Careful is exactly why you get a pretty safe and fun ecosystem to play on LinkedIn. No one's going to criticize my steak on there.
Right, yeah.
Not too harshly.
I don't
They
think we put it up
they don't
there,
wanna-
though.
What?
We
no,
didn't put it
I
up
didn't
there.
put it up there, but you know what I mean, right? Like it's just like it seems like a nicer playground, right? For sure.
Yeah,
Everyone's
it's more-
polite.
it's more professional,
Yep.
and we just don't see a lot of the junk that we see on the other platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would encourage, out of anything, I think if you don't have a LinkedIn and you're a business professional or something like that, I think you're missing out.
I'm always shocked when I
Yeah.
go to look somebody up. I just looked somebody up yesterday who was an engineer of some kind, and I couldn't find them on LinkedIn.
Totally should be on LinkedIn,
How
right?
does that
Even if
even work?
you don't need a huge network of friends on there or anything like that, you should just be on there. You should be engaging in content
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a ton of valuable insights off LinkedIn
I
more than
agree,
anywhere
yeah.
else. It's my favorite place to waste
People
time.
are sharing lots of wisdom on there,
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
It really had a really big resurgence when Twitter started going downhill.
That makes
a couple
sense.
years ago,
Yeah.
a lot of people
Okay.
jumped ship and said, "I'm going over here to network,"
Yep.
and so it had a resurgence.
I,
Yeah.
I honestly
It's been great.
didn't have I didn't enjoy it that much. I started a LinkedIn account I don't know.
Yeah, did you ever
10
hear that
years ago.
rumor about LinkedIn? Like they want it to be like a pay-per-use model only, and they want it to be extremely expensive.
Well, I mean,
I've heard this.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard that as a rumor, but every time they change their rate plan, it gets more expensive, and the free version gets less and less. fewer and fewer features. So the
Right.
free plan right now is, I mean, I'm on the free plan. I tell most people they can stay on the free plan.
Yeah.
But even now, I only get, I think it's 5, maybe 10.
Well, we use it to find guests.
Yeah.
And I only get a
10
couple
reach-outs.
tokens a month. So I'm
Is
like,
that
oh,
all
I
it
want to
is?
read.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Is it 10?
I think it's 10.
I run out of them all the time.
Yeah,
Because
I
we're
do
always
too.
trying to reach out and try to find that guest. You know who I want is the Hawkins cheesy guy. The guy that makes Hawkins cheesies. I'm obsessed.
You
I
are
want to get
obsessed.
that. I know. But I was just I think it'd be fun as shit to
Yeah.
talk to the cheesy guy.
Yeah.
You know, I love the cheesies, and I
They're
want
great
to.
cheesies.
I want to meet the man behind the cheesy. It's like so. He's like these 3 generations down now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And anyways, I think it'd be cool to meet him. So, but I can't get him. But you'll spend your tokens really quick on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, and then you feel
Yeah.
like, should I get the gold? And I never have. I don't even tried it.
That's why it's good to have the 2 of us, though, because at least
Yeah.
we double up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I usually just I just go ahead and send the connection request without the
Yeah.
message, which is not best practice, but LinkedIn did it to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
no, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting though.
That's
It's
an
a
interesting
different
thing,
strategy.
though.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting what you said there. Is like you said it's not best practice to do the connect
Yeah.
versus the reach out. So why did you
Well,
say
it's
that?
not best practice to connect without adding a note.
Okay.
Right, so if you're
Right.
going to connect with somebody and you don't know if they know who you are,
Yeah.
you met at networking or whatever. Best practice says you send them a connection, but you include a note that says, "Hey, it was really nice to meet you at the networking thing the other day. I'd love to
Right.
connect and talk about whatever." That's best practice.
No, and that's genuinely appreciate when they come my way too. 100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
Some
But
of them are a little too much, honestly. Like,
Sometimes they come on a little thick
oh,
do.
like we get so much stuff
paragraphs
because of
and
the
stuff.
podcast.
for the podcast. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get so many people that come in and they're like, "Hey, we can do this for you. We can do this for you." And it's like every second day, and it's just kind of like, you just added me so you could try to sell something for the
oh,
podcast.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We call it the pitch slap.
Yeah.
As soon as you're in there, they start pitching you things. And what gets me is if they did the least little bit of research on my profile, they'd see that, hey, I already offer that service.
Right,
or
yeah.
B, I don't offer those services, therefore I don't need a white label.
Right. Yeah.
Or C, I'm not big enough to need those services. I get,
Right.
industrial cleaning pitches. I get, the other day I got one for IT network support.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wrote back
yeah.
because it was a local company, but I wrote back and I said, look, I work from home.
Yeah.
I don't really need IT network support.
But you
Yeah.
do. I was just joking.
We opened up the afternoon pint IT support.
I could go sell IT.
No, but you know, I think, and I think that seems pretty fair to me. I think for like, I try to reach out and I do try to send messages and stuff like that. But the link, I think the thing I don't like is when you get the pitch, and I've gotten better at it, and you ask them something back. It's like, oh, I really love your podcast. And they're just fake, right? It's
Right.
like, I really
Yeah.
love your podcast. That's what I don't
Yeah.
like about it. It's like, oh, your podcast is so great, but it's not getting enough hits. We can do this. And it's like, first of all, you really need to do some research. And I'll ask them, okay, great. What was your favorite episode? And what was your
Yeah.
favorite quote? And then I never hear from them again.
Yeah.
It's like the guys, I used to get the phone calls from Google support where they'd want to help me get my Google ranking up. And I remember one day I was feeling feisty, so I answered the call. I knew it was going to be some kind of spam, and the guy's trying to sell me on SEO services. And he said, we can get you, ranking #1 on Google. And I said, oh, well, that's interesting. I'm already #1 on Google for my chosen keywords. So how are you going to improve that? And he hung up on me.
Yeah.
So that's a great segue. SEOs.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about SEO is writing your, it wouldn't be writing your podcast, but writing your posts on your website.
This episode is brought to you by Strategy Up. Strategy Up is a business consulting firm led by Mark Zerka, who has over 20 years' experience in building commercial strategies that will up your game, organize your teams, increase your productivity, and grow your business.
Whether you're a construction company looking to grow your revenue or a busy restaurant owner just trying to keep the doors open, Strategy Up can help. Strategy Up's boutique-style consultations will help you improve business process across nearly any industry.
Being a successful entrepreneur does not mean you have to be an expert in everything. Strategy Up specializes in building a relationship with you. Once pain points in the business are realized, Strategy Up will introduce process and technology that will power up your game to the next level.
A successful business requires investment. Your next step towards growth starts now. Email info@mystrategyup.com for a free business discovery call. Up your game with Strategy Up.
In a way that answers the questions that people are typing into Google.
Right.
So if people are typing into Google, what are the top 5 podcasts where they record in the back of a brewery?
Yeah.
You want to have posts on your website that say we record in the back of a brewery.
There's
right?
actually
Gotcha.
only one.
Yeah.
Just this one. These
this
guys.
one.
Yeah.
But,
And you're
but
actually the
that's-
first person to ever search for that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how it works. So if I want to, you have to figure out what would people be typing in that you want to appear for. And then you
Exactly.
answer that in the text on your website.
Right.
And if you treat it that way, it's probably always going to do, like that part is never going to change.
Yeah.
The techniques in the background, the software in the background might change. How you do ads and pay for stuff might change.
I
but
mean,
that
I know
particular
this
piece-
afternoon pint when we started using that, word. We used to be like page 3 or 4 in Google, but we've used it for long enough now that
Right.
we're the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've done it with other IPs so I could look and see what it looks like in BC. It looks
Yep.
like what does it look like in Vancouver, right?
Yep.
AP number 1. Okay, good. So we're in Canada. We're actually not in some other countries yet.
Right.
Right. So if you go to UK IP and you put an afternoon pint, we're not number 1. Right. There's not another afternoon pint. It's just
Pick it up
It's
there,
people
UK.
that are tweeting having an afternoon pint before
Exactly.
us because we're not relevant at all there.
Right. Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that it is very much based on near me. It's
IP
very
and
much-
region and all that kind of
it's very
stuff.
much
Yeah,
based on
100%.
your search history and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
So, I guess the other thing is we've been talking a lot about like kind of what you do, but I guess if someone was to reach out for your services, like what is it? Like, give a kind of a layout
Yeah.
of what you offer to businesses and how you can help them.
Yeah. Well, right now it's all training. I have a couple of clients that I do their daily posts for them, but I'm really not taking clients on for that anymore. So right now it's training, one-on-one training or group training to help people understand how to set up a Facebook page, how to make posts, how to make graphics that work, and how to run the page or the Twitter or the Instagram, mostly Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at this point.
Okay.
Also do some training on how to make reels. A lot of discussions around the things that seem more difficult, like hashtags. What the heck is a hashtag, and how does that help me, and how do I figure them out? Or I don't understand why 100 people in my Instagram feed are all using the same piece of music and copying each other. So
Right.
the culture of different platforms, there's a lot of discussion over helping people understand how that could benefit them and how much of that to do versus educational content. It's a lot about helping them figure out what their strategy is going to be, and then what their content schedule looks like in a way that they can manage it themselves. Because most of the people that I work with don't have yet enough budget to be hiring somebody like me to do their social for them.
Right.
They're trying to cobble it together themselves, but they don't even know what they don't know.
Right.
So it's helping them understand the basics of how to run a page, how to make content, how to figure out what kind of content to do and turn that into something that's
But that's a real
interesting.
practical application. That's really
Yeah.
good that you're helping people with that. Because, I mean, I can imagine like maybe a family running a pizza shop,
Yeah, absolutely.
carpenters that do beautiful work but don't know how to put it out there.
Yeah.
Folks
Yeah,
like that could
exactly.
really take advantage of that, right? Because
Yeah.
they need someone to just say, how the heck do I do this stuff?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
I've actually I do a course through a local program called SEED that has a national program called Leveling It Up. I
Okay.
have 3 electrologists.
Electrologist.
Electrologists in
That's
that
a
course.
weird vertical.
Yeah, so maybe I should do a whole thing. But
Yeah.
it started with one, and she brought 2 friends and so on. But in that program, I've had everything from restaurants to electrologists to coaches and artists, and like they're all just people trying to start a business and be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And they've just never used social media that way before. It's always been just about connecting with friends, and now it's about something bigger.
But it is a mental shift from connecting with friends to using it for commercial gain. And getting people interested is the hardest goddamn thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I don't have the magic key for that either, because it's going to be different for every business. Like, what does somebody who likes beer want to see for content versus somebody who likes to cook?
Right.
It's going to be totally different types of content. Maybe your people want to see funny reels of people falling down drunk, I don't know. And this person wants to learn how to cook.
So just
So-
videos of Tobin on Saturday.
I'll show you how to cook a steak.
Listen, how many times do we watch videos of people who fall down, right?
Oh,
Right.
it's the
100%.
second funniest thing.
Yeah,
anymore.
100%.
America's Funniest Videos.
Yeah, it was a whole show based off of people getting hit with stuff and falling down and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Now it's just in our pockets.
So do you have like currently do you have business partners that are kind of like business consultants or like help with business efficiencies that kind of refer you over to help with their social media specifically?
No, yes and no. I mean, I have lots of entrepreneur friends, so we all just when the project is right, we say you need to call this person or that person, or you need to go on this podcast and talk to this influencer. But nothing official. It's really, Twerp is just me.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just me sitting on my couch working.
Twerp's a great name, too.
Yeah,
It's funny.
yeah. You're a twerp.
It goes with the anti-hero thing, right?
Yeah, more with twerp.
Yeah.
That's what my sister said to me when I came up with
Twerp.
twerp. She said, "Do you really want to be known as the twerp?" And I said, "I think I do."
Good.
That's cool.
I like it. It's a good name.
Yeah.
You want to
So-
play a game?
Well,
Sure.
before we play a game,
sorry.
I just wanted to ask because on top of the your consulting and your educating and all that other stuff, you also like host a day.
I have a
That-
few other projects on
Oh,
the go.
yeah, the social media day thing. Do
Yeah.
you know we applied for that? You rejected us?
I know.
You called us losers. You wrote the word
I
loser
did not.
in capital letters.
I don't believe I did.
You said-
Dear,
Not
dear
yet.
I'm
losers.
pretty sure it was all lowercase.
That's even better. Best response. Yeah. Good. Dear losers. No.
So I am one of the co-founders of Social Media Day Halifax, a conference for
Yeah.
small business owners who want to learn more about all things. Well, it's really all things online marketing now.
Yeah.
It is the best and worst project I've ever started. I mean, I love it.
It's brilliant.
I do.
It seems quite popular.
It is very popular. We
Yeah.
get up to 300 small business owners in the room in June. We are going ahead with next year, so we've started. It's June 6th, I think. Is the
And
date.
we'll be there.
I was going to say, you know what? Totally reformat. You just get Mike and Matt up there interviewing all our guests
Yeah.
while we drink beer.
Terrible, yeah.
Well, we can talk about that after. But the hard part about it is that I've made so many friends in this industry, and Halifax is a small, like Nova Scotia is a small community, really.
Oh, big time.
So I know most of the people who are my competitors,
Right.
and this is an event that everybody in this business wants to be part of because it looks good.
That's excellent.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
And you
they're-
usually do it at the Cineplex, too, so
we
it's
do
pretty,
it at the
pretty
Cineplex.
big event.
Yeah. So they're applying to this, and then I have to look at. We get 50 to 70 applications every year for 15 spots.
Wow.
And I have to
Okay.
look at all of those and go.
How many applications?
I think we had 70 this year.
70. We didn't make it in 70 applications.
Well,
15 people
no,
better than
no.
us.
Yeah, 15 people. Yeah, exactly. We were number 16.
Congratulations,
She
those
told me
people.
we
I
were
was
number
just gonna say,
16.
you were number 16.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
But I have to look at these and look at all these friends who are applying.
Yeah,
For
that's true.
sure.
And say,
oh, that's daunting.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got 3 friends who have all applied to speak about the same thing. How do I choose between these people that I know and respect all of them? How do I decide who's going to get to speak this year?
Yeah,
And
that's
we do try to spread it around, and we every year
Yeah,
we have
rotate
new
it,
topics, and we try not to keep the same people all the time.
Yeah.
But, it's that part of it is really stressful for me because Linda Daly is my business partner on that.
Yeah.
She does a lot of the background stuff, but we work together choosing the speakers based on topics to make sure we've got a nice spread of topics
For sure,
and
yeah.
everything. But it's usually me saying, okay, it's down to these two people. I think we have to go with this one or that one because I know most of them and I know who can speak. And so
100%.
I don't like that part of it.
That's
No,
fair.
that's tough.
That would be tough.
But you are putting on an event that's there to help others,
Yeah.
and I think you sound like you have a really good handle on what you're doing.
When
and I
did you
respect
start doing that?
Yeah.
This year will be the 8th year.
8th year, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like what? I guess what inspired you to kind of like put that together? Because I mean, it seems like it would be a pretty daunting task.
It was.
And like,
Yeah.
how many people showed up first year?
Well, the first year, literally, I walked into another event at Cineplex. It was a very small event, like 20 people in there for some kind of networking day to learn about Cineplex events. And before I even went into the event itself, I'm getting my coffee, talking to the guy that runs the events at Cineplex, and I said, I think I have an event I'd like to have here. Just let it out like that. And next thing I knew, I was hosting that event there. But we had an online marketing conference in Halifax for a few years before that, and they had gone out of business or whatever.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
they stopped. And I just knew there was a big gap that
Okay.
we needed that. I was
Yeah.
traveling all the way over to San Diego every year to get this kind of education.
okay.
And that's not
Wow.
a fun trip. San
Well, that
Diego's
is-
lovely.
Yeah,
but-
lovely
That's
spot, but
about
it's
as
like-
far away as you can get when
Pretty
you come to
much.
North
It's
America.
Usually a couple flights and
Yeah, it's
hangovers and all that.
yeah,
Or hangovers.
it's-
What do you
it's
call
a
them?
lot.
Layovers.
Might have been
Hangovers
both.
too. Probably both.
Yeah, there could have been both.
Yeah.
But I finally said, there's a gap here. We need this here for the local businesses. It was a way for me to collaborate with all of those other experts in town who all have different things that they're really good at. I'm not really good at all of them. So I could
Yeah.
bring in an SEO person. I could bring
Right.
in a podcast
Right.
person.
You had Giles on this year.
Giles was there this
Yeah,
year.
my previous
Yeah.
guest. Awesome episode if you listen.
Yeah.
And you want to go back and check it out.
Yeah, and Aaron Trafford was our keynote speaker the first year.
Wow. Okay. Aaron's been on the
okay.
show also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's probably been a few of your past guests that
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
been there.
Keontae,
Just not you
actually,
guys. I mean,
Keontae
just
Beals.
not you
Just
guys.
Just not us. Yeah.
Sorry, you brought it up.
She's like, keep trying.
That was awesome.
Well, we'll definitely apply next
all
year.
your guests are worthy. Just you guys aren't. That was awesome.
Yeah, Keontae was there last year.
He's a nice guy.
He's great.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's great. So, yeah, it was just that there was this big gap in opportunities for people to learn, and we thought this is a really good way for us, Linda and I, and we had a third person the first year. Really good way for us to all work together to service that community that we all work with and collaborate. And it just, the first year we did it, we thought if we get 100 people, we'll be really happy, and then we'll decide whether or not to do it again. But we knew before the event happened that we would do it again, and we had 250 people the first year.
Wow.
Amazing.
Okay. Wow.
It's going to be
Yeah.
even bigger next year.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
I think so.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing.
300 is about our maximum just because
Just
of
because
space.
of what you can fit.
Capacity
Yeah,
there,
that
yeah,
makes sense.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Yeah.
something that's going to grow and it's always going to help businesses of any size.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So love
Yeah.
it.
So the and I know you want to get.
Can
to
I
the
ask my
game,
fun
but-
questions yet?
No, one more thing we got to explore because you're currently, when this comes out, the election's going to be over. But currently, you are running.
I am.
I just wanted to kind of explore a little bit about, like, obviously you're putting yourself out there all the time for your business anyway, but it's very different when you put yourself out there
Yeah.
for politically.
Yeah, very.
It's way different. I did it. I did it 4 years ago. I ran 4 years ago, so I know what it's like.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like when you see people who you thought were friends that don't vote for you or support
Yep.
someone else and all that
Been
stuff.
there
So-
already.
just talk a little bit through that stuff. I guess, like, what you're going through, because I imagine someone in your position who relies on friends and networking and all that stuff.
Just keep in mind before you answer, you may or may not be counselor right now.
That's
true.
right. I know. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
it's hard.
But I don't think that changes the question, because
No.
in the end, people didn't support you and you thought they would.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've had that conversation with a few people because I do know a lot of people in my district.
Yeah.
And I've written to different people and said, hey, I don't want to assume
Yep.
that just because we're friends, you're going to vote for me. So I'm checking with people. And I've had people write back and say, sorry, I'm going to vote for another person.
Yeah,
Or
that
I
sucks.
haven't decided yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And that, it's almost that I haven't decided yet that hurts worse.
You know what?
Hell yeah.
That's true, because you
Yeah.
know what? When I did it, I had people who were like, well, I know this person too, and they already asked for my support, and like they basically just beat you to it. I'm like, okay, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
But,
I'd
like,
rather
yeah.
you have an
I mean,
answer.
when Matt was
Yeah.
running, he was running in like where I lived, and
He didn't vote for me. No.
I totally did. But in this instance, actually, a neighbor 3 doors down was also running.
That's right.
And
Yes.
a really
Yeah.
nice guy. I actually really
Yeah.
liked him, and he came to the door and asked me for his vote, and I was like, sorry, bro, and I'll tell you exactly why. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, this is my friend for 15 years, and I got,
Yep.
Yeah.
I had explained the whole story, and he respected that.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a really honest and earnest
Honestly,
answer.
as long as
Yeah.
people are getting out and voting,
Yeah.
that's the best thing. I just want people to get out and vote, because our voter engagement is at 40%.
Right.
Which is awful.
I know.
So
2020, it was up to like 42, and that was an actual.
It was
that,
below 40, wasn't it?
No.
According to Wikipedia.
2020 it bumped up over 40. Before that, it was trending under 40. It was 38.
Yeah.
2020, because of the pandemic and basically no one had anything to do, it bucked the trend.
Okay.
I think actually maybe even we made it down to 36%, but it was above 40 in like every election for like the last.
It says 39.5 on LinkedIn. I only
Yeah.
know this because I just did the mayor episode, produced it, and went on LinkedIn to do the research.
depends on
or
which election
Wikipedia.
maybe, or
Yeah, it was the municipal 2020.
Yeah, 'cause I'm pretty sure that they talked
Yeah.
about it recently. There was an article out, and they talked about how 2020 was the only one that like
Okay.
it went the opposite way. But either way, whether it was
I just fact checking you, man. I just did the
the thing
Wikipedia.
is, whether it was over 40 or not,
Yeah.
the fact is that 2020 was a different mixer where it actually went up. Where the last 3 elections, so that means 12 years, the last 3 elections, it was trending down every time, and 2020 went back up.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'll be very interested to see what this year provides.
I'm really interested too, not just because I'm running, but also because we've had in District 16, where I'm running, we've had a counselor for
Forever.
for
Literally
4
for-
terms, and he was acclaimed the last 2
That's right.
elections. We
Okay.
didn't even have anybody. We
No
didn't
one
have a
ran
vote.
against him.
Running against them?
No,
Nobody ran against him the last 2
That
times.
happens a couple times because they're like, I can't win, so what's the point of wasting
Exactly.
my money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
That
So-
sucks though when you don't have nobody running and just one person just kind of going through the whole.
Well,
motion.
I think
Yeah.
part of it was I think he was a really good counselor, and he worked really hard for the community, and I think the community saw that. So,
Talk about a guy with social media presence.
well, I mean, at least
He
he
did.
answers people, right?
He did, like, honestly.
He
Yeah.
gets in there and answers
Tim answered
people.
people, like, whether he liked it or not, whether you disagree with him or whatnot. But when I saw, like, when people called him out on social media, he responded.
He's
That's
still
cool.
there.
Yep.
Yep.
It's true. So I'll
So
give him
is
that.
the Tim guy running again?
No, he's the incumbent. He's retired.
gone.
Retired.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
he's stepping down. So there's 6
Yeah.
people running.
I'm surprised there's even that few, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's that few, because generally when a long-term incumbent comes and says they're not offering,
People
I mean,
come out of the
look at the
woodworks.
mayor. There's 16,
Yeah.
right?
16, yeah.
So, and when I ran, there was like 4 years ago, there was 12, and that's because the guy who was in there was 29 years. So
Wow.
12 people ran.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I guess like it's really tough, eh? Like going
It
through
is.
that
I mean,
mentally, people don't realize
It changes everything. I mean, I'm constantly saying, "Oh, I can't say that anymore.
True.
I can't tweet that anymore." Or this
Yeah.
tweet, it's true, but it's not worth it. It's
Yeah.
not worth the backlash I might get for this.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, I just can't be quite as casual as I used to be on there.
Yeah.
And I have to think about everything differently. But I'm also getting a completely different kind of email from people.
Yeah.
So where I used to get emails of people, oh my gosh, could you please help me with such and such? Now it's, rawr,
Right.
you've got to do something. I got one the other day that said something like, people in your line of work. And I'm like, I'm not even there yet.
Yeah, you're not a politician yet, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing is people would say that to me, and and I'm 39, and so I was 35 when I ran, and I had people who were like, "Oh, I know why you want to do it. You're a young guy and you want a good job." And I'm like, "I have a good job, and it pays
Yeah.
more than what this job pays. I'm actually taking a pay cut to do this." Right?
Yeah.
So it's all these assumptions that people think that they can just talk really shitty about you when just because you're putting your name forward, which
Yeah.
really it's a service. Like I saw it as like I'm doing a service because I want to make my community better.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like you flip from being an anti-hero to just being a villain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, a lot of people will see you as a villain. I just wrote a comment on Facebook before I came here, actually, to one person who was saying, well, it doesn't matter who we vote in, they're all going to do the same thing, which is nothing.
Right.
And I said, look, that's, yeah, I'm cynical, I'm jaded, the same as everybody else, but I'm going into this trying to do the right thing for our community.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm never going to make everybody happy.
Courtney
No matter,
can't.
there's at least two sides to every issue.
Yep.
And no matter which side I vote with, the other side's going to be mad. So there's
right.
always going to be somebody out there
Yeah.
that says, you didn't do anything for me. You voted against whatever it was I
100%.
wanted, right?
Yeah.
So
That's a great thing about
it's very
democracy.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
Well, I'm going to wrap up this therapy
Yeah, we
session
can
for
we can play-
politicians. And
All right, yeah. you can play your game now.
you want to play a silly game?
Sure, I love silly games.
Okay, cool. So we've been doing this lately, and it's been really kind of getting popular. People are saying, "Hey, look,
They
we
want
want you
more
to
of it."
ask more of these silly questions at the end of every show." So these are questions you
All
can
right, maybe
answer.
I should have some more
Yes,
cider.
have a drink.
You're gonna have some because if you don't want to answer it, you got to.
Yeah, so you can answer these questions. Don't answer these questions. Just take a drink if you don't answer.
Okay.
Mostly these are fun. They wouldn't get you in any trouble, I don't think. Maybe one or two.
Where do you hide the bodies?
All right.
Second page of Google.
Question number 1. If you could appear as a guest on any TV show, new or old, which one would you choose and why?
Oh my gosh.
If you could just appear on the show, just be a part of the show. If you like the show as a kid or an
There's
adult.
too many that I really like. I guess right now I'd have to say maybe Outlander.
Oh,
Okay.
that's yeah.
It's a really niche show.
yeah,
But,
it is. I know it. Yeah,
yeah.
My wife likes it.
Yeah, I think my partner likes it as well. And I believe there's a lot of nudity in that show. We'll just leave it at that.
There's not a lot of nudity. There's a little bit of good a little bit of nudity, yes.
Nothing wrong with that. There you go.
Exactly. Okay, this is a great question. Question number 2. If you woke up tomorrow a famous rap artist, what would your rap name be?
Little Twerp.
Little twerp is bomb.
There you
Little
go.
twerp in the house. I love it.
Little twerp.
Okay, awesome. Okay, who do you prefer to see as your next prime minister, Trudeau or Poilievre?
Boy, that cider's looking awful good.
You can have a drink if you want to
Yeah.
answer it. It's okay.
No, if I had to choose between those two, I'm going with Trudeau.
Okay, very good. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people take the drink on that one. So good job.
That that takes some guts.
Yeah.
Okay, so question number 4. Stuck on a deserted island, but you have one album and one book with you. Which are they?
Oh,
For the kids, by album, I mean like thing that you play music on, like a
One
CD or a
playlist.
record. Yeah.
probably Greatest Hits by Queen,
Cool.
all right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
and one book. I mean, I might have to go with Outlander again. It was a book first. I mean,
Amazing.
it's a good book.
Awesome. Okay.
I would pick Lord of the Rings and then try to make it into a religion.
There you go. Question number 5. Have you ever been arrested?
No,
No.
no.
That's not what your LinkedIn does.
That's not what this does. Yeah.
So, question number 6. How can Afternoon Pint get more followers on Instagram?
Sorry, we had to get that in there.
You could buy them.
Buy them?
Oh,
yeah.
No,
yeah.
No, that's a good answer.
No,
No, we haven't yet.
No, don't
People
do
get
that.
scammed out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the answer to that is just making more content that people like. So,
Mm-hmm.
getting more followers on Instagram. The key is engaging with other people who would like your content. And a lot of people use any of the social networks as a broadcast medium. So they put their message out there, but they don't actually spend the time engaging with people.
In the community, whether it's the beer
In the
community or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't mean just answering the comments on your post, but going around and engaging
Commenting on
other
others
people's
and
stuff.
liking and loving and
Yes,
supporting.
and sharing and
yeah.
all of that.
That's a terrific answer.
That's how you're going to grow an Instagram, and probably making the occasional trending video.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like cooking a steak
copy
or
the trends.
whatever.
Or something.
Yeah.
Not cooking a steak.
Next Sunday, I'll be boiling a hot dog, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Okay.
Question number 7. I like this one.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Do you hang toilet paper over or under? You know what I mean by that,
Okay,
right?
this is going to be really, really controversial.
Sure.
I don't pay attention. I just put it on.
Hey, no, I do that. You know what? When people ask
Amazing.
me that, I'm like, you know what I care about? It being there.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really think about it either.
I don't.
So that's
I don't
we're all
care.
in the same.
Yeah.
We're all in the same
I
boat
don't
there.
care.
I really don't.
Yeah, I don't care
I
either.
just thought it'd be a fun question.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's
Go
my
ahead,
turn.
Matt.
Get out of here.
Sorry.
Did you read this?
Which one? I probably didn't. I wrote these really fast.
Do you have or have you ever had an imaginary friend? What? If she says she currently does, whoa, this podcast is going longer.
I don't think so. I don't remember having one when I was a kid. I definitely don't think I have. I think everybody's real. Are you real?
Yes, yeah, we're real. Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a figment of both of your imagination.
Yeah. No, I don't
Awesome.
think I ever had an imaginary friend.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Cool. I didn't either. Did you ever imagine
No,
your
I
friend?
never. I don't recall ever.
No?
having- No, I don't think so. I just played with lots of action figures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, number 9. Do you think aliens exist?
Definitely.
Definitely. Do you think
Absolutely.
they're among
Exhibit A.
the actual question that I wrote, I forgot. Among us. Do you think they're among us?
I think it's possible.
It's possible.
I think
Okay.
it's possible. I
Cool.
think it's impossible to look at the universe outside of Earth and say there's nothing else out there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
I like that.
All
Love
right.
that answer.
So, question number 10. This is the same that everyone gets. So, what's one thing that every person can do to make the world a better place?
Get out and vote.
Oh.
It'll be too late, I guess.
Ooh, yeah.
It'll be too late, but get out and vote.
Listen, there's lots of voting
Get
opportunities.
engaged.
I love that, though.
Get engaged in your community?
community. Go to
I love
the
that
open
answer.
houses. Pay attention to what's going on.
Run. Run.
Run. Put your name out
yeah,
for office.
congratulations. Yeah.
I think
Love
that's
it.
a good. I think honestly, anyone who puts a name.
Volunteer with a cause or a board that's important to you. I mean, it doesn't have to be office, but
Yeah.
volunteer somewhere that's important to you and your family, and get out. I mean, that's how you make your community better, more connected.
100%.
I think you're the first person to not take a drink.
Yeah. No,
Think so.
I don't know.
You'd be
Yeah.
hard pressed to ask me anything I wouldn't answer. I think.
Yeah, no, we won't try.
Will we be at social media day next night?
She's drinking.
Okay, there you go. We got her to take a drink.
There you go.
All right. Well, I think that's a perfect time to end this
Awesome.
episode.
Thank
Anita,
you,
it's been
Anita.
a pleasure meeting you.
That was really fun. Thank you.
That was very fun.
All
Yes,
right.
Thank you.
Well, I hope to talk again soon. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to The Afternoon Pint. We are an independent podcast and we need your support. Please take a moment to hit that like, follow, and share button. Email us if you have an idea or suggestion for the show. Please send your feedback. We'd love to hear from you.